Over the last 2 years of making sourdough bread, this recipe is what I've found to have the most success with. Start with the starter first. Generally, a jar this size is capable of around 100 to 120 grams of starter, so let's see how much we can get with this. We're going to add either bottled water or distilled water if you have it. I tend to avoid tap water just because it has chlorine in it and that can affect the yeast that's in the starter. And we're going to add 325 grams of water. A 70% hydrated loaf is generally recommended for beginners. If it's any more hydrated, it will be very hard to work with. Some say you can mix the starter in with the water, but we don't have to. And last but not least, 11 grams of salt. Now that we've added our salt, we're gonna move on to the flour. And this is a little bit different than what I've seen people do, but we're gonna mix 400 grams of all-purpose flour and 100 grams of whole wheat flour and mix. So we're gonna come back in 30 minutes. We're gonna cover this up with a towel and I'll show you guys how to stretch and fold. When we're all covered up, we're gonna come back in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, so we're gonna check and see what's going on with our dough. We're gonna go to the stretch and fold portion of our video. We're gonna do this in 3 sets. Should be in intervals of 30 minutes, so it should be about an hour and a half from now that we can do the next step. But this step is gonna be the same for all 3 intervals. This is us stretching and folding the dough. We're basically grabbing an edge or a corner of the dough and stretching it as far as we can and folding it in on itself. After 30 minutes covered, we're gonna do our second and third set. This is how we form the gluten structure in our bread. So we've made our last stretch and fold here, and we want to measure the rise from this point all the way up until it doubles in size again. Since we can't really tell the difference in a bowl, I've put it in a smaller container so that we can measure how much it's rising. So it's about 11:30 at night, and let's take a look at what's happened. So after 8 hours, we've seen all these little bubbles pop up in our dough. So we're gonna do a final shaping. So now we're gonna let this rest for 15 minutes and then we're gonna do our final shaping. And you will need your Banneton basket here. Once we're done with our shaping portion, we're gonna bag it up, throw it in the fridge, and check back on it tomorrow.